Today we want to compare three very popular standard zooms for the Sony E-mount system. We want to look at lenses made by Sigma, Tamron and Sony. Let's check them out.
Welcome to Marcus Senior, the place where the outdoors and creativity meet technology. I'm Marcus Capella Senior. Today I want to compare three standard zoom lenses for the Sony system. On one side I have the Sony f4 G class here. Then I have the very popular Tamron f2.8 28 to 75 mm and the newly released Sigma 24 to 70 mm. I want to see how they stack up against each other and see which one makes most sense to take out and about when you just want to take one glass. Let's check them out. I have the focus area set to wide, so it covers the biggest part of my sensor, and the autofocus is set to continuous autofocus, so I can constantly track my movements and see how it goes. Right now I have the Sony mount, the Sony 24-105 at 50mm, but I have the settings on all the other lenses the same way. Let me show you my test environment here. Here I have the backup camera. Here is the A7III with the Tamron 24mm and the wireless Go as main sound source. Then here I have the Sony A7III with right now the Sony 24-105 mounted on it and the backup sound. And this is my main camera where I make all the tests with. I have the Sony 24-105 mounted. I have it set to 24mm f16. Let's test autofocus. Side of the camera and back in, side and back in, working backwards. Now it's the back of my body, so there's no face to detect, but let's just gently slender towards the camera. Again, it's at 24mm, so it's pretty wide, f16, and right now I'm back again at around 4 feet, a bit more than a meter away from the camera. It's the Tamron, the 28 to 75mm. Right now I have the widest, which is 28mm. Let's do also the autofocus test. It's f16 as well. And jump in, out, and jump in, go to the side, come back in, side, come back in. Let's walk a little further away. And walking gently again towards the lens. It's the Tamron 28 to 75, right now set to 28mm f16. Right now I have the Sigma 24 to 70mm mounted on my Sony A7III. I do the same test like with the other two lenses. Let's do the autofocus test. Jumping in from the bottom up into the frame. And in, going to the side, bing, out, and bing, walk to the distance, and now gently come back to the camera, see if the autofocus can catch my face. Okay. That's at 24mm, the Sigma 24 to 70. I'm currently filming with the Sigma. I'm approximately 2 meters away from the camera, around 6.5 feet away from the camera. I have it set at 50mm right now. It's also f16 because it's still pretty bright out here. And let's do some autofocus test. In, I don't know if I get out of frame, but let's see. Oops, one more time. And walking away. and see if the lens can pick up my face and follow my focus back to my beginning spot around 6.5 feet, 2 meters away from the lens. I have the Tamron mounted and set to 50mm. It's also f16 because it's still pretty bright. The autofocus test. Let's go inside. Ooh, I can see the sun going down there a little bit. Let's go for a distance. And all the people are going for walks, huh? Pretty cool. Okay, walking back, see if he picks up my face back at around 6.5 feet, 2 meters away from the camera. Right now I have the Sony lens mounted, set to 50mm as well, also f16. Autofocus test. Side. And jump back in. Further away. And gently walk towards the camera, hoping the autofocus picks up my face and follows me and keeps me in focus. It's a Sony at 50mm. I have the Sony mounted set to 70mm and f11, and I just want to see how it keeps me in focus. I don't want to make too big of moves, but still want to get out of the frame. I guess I'm out. And then come back in and just make gentle movements to see how well the Sony can keep me at f11 at 70mm, going out again and coming back in. After Tamron mounted, set to 75mm f9. Just walk gently backwards, coming closer to the camera. Still all around 2 meters, 6.5 feet away. I'm walking off frame, I guess. Now I'm walking into frame. See if it picks up my focus. I'm going out of frame at the bottom. Wait until the camera can catch focus in the back and jump in. Again, this is the Tamron 28 to 75. Set to 75mm. After Sigma mounted, set at 70mm, its maximum. Let's see how the focus is working on the Sigma, the autofocus. I'm going a bit backwards. I'm walking a bit closer to the camera. Backwards. Still f9. Going out of frame gently. And gently come into frame again. Go down. Wait and focus goes in the back and jump in. That's the Sigma 24 to 70mm, set at its max at 70mm, f9. After Sony set to 105mm f9, it's the only one I can go that far because all the other ones are ending either at 70 or 75. So let's see how the autofocus is doing on the Sony 24-105 set at 105mm f9. Just gently moving around to the side, coming a closer. I'm at around 2 meters, 6.5 feet away. Go further away, coming close, getting out of frame, I guess, and coming back in. Go to the side and coming back in. That's a Sony set at 105mm f9. Before I cut into my final scene, I just want to say I just ended up doing an autofocus test. I was running out of time, the sun is going down, and I just wanted to get something out for you guys. I filmed at 24mm, 50mm, 70, 75, and 105 depending on the lens. I had the autofocus area set to wide and had the continuous autofocus so it would better track me wherever I go, because when you're out about, you don't have a cameraman, you want to make sure that when you make small movements or bigger movements, then the camera can track you. But let's cut to my final scene. What do you think about those lenses? Which one would you take on a trip into the wilderness or anywhere where you only want to take one lens? Is it the much lighter Tamron, or do you prefer the quality of the bit heavier Sigma but still f2.8? Or you don't really care too much about the 2.8, f4 fine, and a little bit more reach with the Sony lens here that goes up to 105mm? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Like if you like this kind of content. And see you next time around. Bye for now.